This is Little Mean Kathleen, and you're listening to Wrestling with Entertainment.
And we are wrestling with WWE Elimination Chamber preview. It's tomorrow, and if you are smart, by some miracle of God, how do we listen to Elimination Chamber, Scooter?
You, of course.
Wait, not a miracle of God. You should be doing it off rip.
Well, I am God, so. But, of course, you listen to it only on the remix tomorrow. Tomorrow. It's tomorrow. That's right. 7 p.m. Eastern. Me and James provided the only live alternate commentary, live streaming alternate commentary podcast on the web today. Over 5 years strong. Nobody to this day has even come close to providing the type of alternate commentary we do. You don't want to hear it from a script. You want to hear it from us. So tune in, the UNB Network on Mixler, the remix, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, the Elimination Chamber remix.
And maybe Kaliko will even join us if he could get away from his son and wife.
Hey, man, last week was wifey time, so you knew that was it.
Valentine.
She took every fucking measure.
Oh, man.
I'm not complaining.
You got to work, man.
I'm not complaining.
You're not complaining because she listens to the show, right?
I'm not going to confirm or deny that answer. I'm just gonna let that ride into the sunset right there.
Kaliko, remember when we married those girls in Vegas 3 weeks ago?
Whoa.
Shit, she got me on track. She knows damn where I'm at. Hell, she got cameras in the house. The moment I leave, shit, where the fuck you going? Like, wait, what?
Let's get into it. United States Championship match. Bobby Lashley defends against Matt Riddle. Well, just Riddle at this point. And Keith Lee. Who wins, Scooter?
Now, Keith Lee is still up in the air for this.
Yes, he is.
But it's Lashley.
Drew?
I'm going to go Matt Riddle.
Ooh. Time to pull the trigger?
Yeah, I think so. Bobby Lashley needs to move up to that heavyweight title picture.
And what say you, Kaliko?
The only reason I would say Riddle is because the way the Hurt Business has been fucking arguing, and Lashley looks like he's tired of that shit. Like, he looked like he ready to drop the dead weight, because he just looks like, yo, I got shit to do.
Yep.
And you motherfuckers bitching is in my way.
I'll be back.
So I feel like it would be him, and I'm thinking this might be a reason Shelton might get kicked out. But I think this starts the catalyst of that. Like, because it's already been there, but if they lose the U.S. title, that cements it.
I think, if Keith Lee's not available even for the match, like Scooter said, I think they might go Riddle. Just because, what Drew said, Big Bobby Lashley needs to go on to more things. WWE Championship match. Elimination Chamber. Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus versus AJ Styles versus Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy versus Kofi Kingston. Start us off, Scooter.
Okay, now I got some big news here.
Yes,
now, remember The Miz gave up his spot. Now, it looks as though The Miz is going to attempt to do what Edge did when he cashed it in back in 2006.
Yep.
And here's the thing. It looks like he's going to be successful. And the thing is that if the Miz is WWE champion, well, you're not putting him up against Drew at it's not going to be Drew at WrestleMania. But it looks like, and this is just hearsay at this point, but if the Miz does walk out of Elimination Chamber with the title, he's going to defend at WrestleMania against John Cena.
Oh, God. I hope that's not right. I hope that's just rumor and anyone know.
Keep in mind, 10-year anniversary of their WrestleMania main event, but it would result in Cena winning the 17th title,
breaking the record.
And the next night, Cena would retire.
Wow. That is a very bold rumor.
Now, it's an idea from a source. It's not guaranteed. I'm hearing that Sheamus and Drew may have a cinematic barroom brawl.
For Mania?
For Mania, yes. But provided as actual winner, I will say, Drew to retain.
And Miz cash in afterwards.
I'm not going to put that as an official prediction.
Alright, fair enough.
I'm going to say that's just something I've heard as a possible idea being thrown around.
Drew?
I'm going to go with Drew retaining, but I'm interested in that whole Miz cashing in the Money in the Bank. I'm really interested in it because if Cena, which he has said there is no earthly way for him to show up at WrestleMania this year because he's in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, taping some show.
Which means he's actually going to be there for sure, definitely.
He will. Vince will send the plane, the bus, have COVID tests and vaccines ready to go for John Cena to perform at WrestleMania. But for Sunday night, I'm saying that Drew retains the title. It's all up in the air. Once I saw Miz take himself out of it, I'm like, intrigued. And makes sense because he doesn't need to be in that match. But Drew retains.
So Drew for Drew.
Yeah, Drew for Drew.
And Kaliko.
This is like that Miz thing threw me off. But let's keep in mind they still got Fastlane for better or for freaking worse. Okay, so if Drew, here's my thing. If Drew wins, they're sticking with the Sheamus storyline because that is the most intriguing storyline for the championship. If Miz cashes in and wins, you would think he would have a lengthy reign, but I also could see them doing that just to keep the possibility that winning the briefcase means something, and him losing it at Fastlane or losing it at Mania. John Cena, man, I need him to just take one for the bullet and take Goldberg. Just take Goldberg for all of our sakes. I told you he would get the Medal of Honor if he wrestles Goldberg.
Yes.
But I'm gonna go Drew just because that's where the story is with him and Sheamus. But the hard part of picking Drew is it's very rare you see a guy go Mania to Mania with the belt.
It's true. That is
And
true.
that's the only, like, he'll win the match, but I don't expect him to be walking into WrestleMania as the champion.
No.
That's true, but they are, they are building him like a Hulk Hogan in a sense. And, Becky Lynch did it last year as well. She went Mania to Mania before she got
Becky
injured.
Lynch was like a fucking white hot meteor in a sea of stars.
Yeah, she was so hot last year.
Drew is nowhere near the popularity of Becky.
No.
So, and you could, I mean, mainly because she's a female and she's good looking on the eyes, and yes, I'm not doubting her wrestling ability, but it was just the reason Becky was working was because the people were already with her through the bullshit.
Yes.
So when she finally got there, she was like the female Daniel Bryan. That's basically how I can put it. She's female Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
So Drew is nowhere near Daniel Bryan.
No.
So that's why I don't see it happening. So he'll win the match, but between there and Mania, he's not keeping the belt.
That brings us to everybody. It kind of seems unanimously Drew McIntyre for the win, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Universal Championship #1 contendership Elimination Chamber match. Kevin Owens, Daniel Bryan, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, Cesaro, and King Corbin. And later on, I believe right after the match, they wrestled Roman Reigns.
Yep.
So that's a two-part question. Who wins the Elimination Chamber, and then who wins Roman Reigns versus that person? Scooter.
Now, most would say probably Daniel Bryan, but it doesn't serve Daniel Bryan to win the chamber only to get immediately trounced by Roman. So, given what I've seen on SmackDown, it looks like Cesaro and Roman and Cesaro happen only for Seth to cause Cesaro to lose, because it looks like they're building Cesaro and Seth for Mania if they are doing Daniel Bryan and Seth. I mean, you could probably do Cesaro or Daniel Bryan in that point and then have Seth cause the loss. But I'm going to pick Cesaro to win the Chamber and Roman to retain.
Drew?
I'm gonna say Cesaro because, like Scooter was saying, how they were built, how things are looking on SmackDown with him. And here's just a little spoiler on my end. I think Cesaro is going to take the title from Roman Reigns, but not at this event. I think that's probably later down in the year. I think it is time to pull the trigger on Cesaro as a main event guy, and I think he's going to take the belt from Roman probably at a SummerSlam or their outs in the summer. But I think he wins the Chamber and he faces Roman, and Roman kicks the holy hell out of him and goes on and faces my fellow Canadian Adam Copeland at WrestleMania.
And Kaliko.
I know this sounds dumb, but hear me out. Hear me out. What if, and I'm not saying it's going to happen. I think we're all in agreement that it's going to be Cesaro, because I feel like Cesaro is going to be the guy, and Seth causes the match, and that leads Roman and Edge to go at it at Mania.
Mm-hmm.
But playing devil's advocate, I kind of want Jay to win. Just because of the simple fact, yes, because keep in mind, what has been the story the whole time, right?
Mm-hmm.
I always, this is why I hated Jay winning or turning so early, because they put him in these situations where that story would be way more intriguing for him to get his ass beat into submission, into falling in line. But that didn't happen, so therefore Cesaro's gonna win. And it's gonna go, and Roman's gonna go over. But think of that, right? Think of Roman been telling Jay what to do this whole time, and Jay has been resisting. And then when he got this shot, he has to fall in line. Like maybe a Jimmy comes out, makes him get in line. Do you see what I'm saying? Like that's where I felt like storyline wise, that would have been like off the hook. Because they spent that time pushing Jay for a title shot anyway.
Yeah.
And it's a great callback, because the whole point of him being with them is not just to be in the sidekick, but to be eventually a guy. So
hear me out though. Do you think that because of the pandemic, that's why we got the Jay falling in line so soon? Because if there was crowds and Jay keeps not falling in line, he gets the shot here at Elimination Chamber, he wins it, and then his brother comes and beats him to fall in line. You think that's the reason why we got that a little too soon?
That's a possibility.
It is, however, the sympathy was already there after he choked his brother out and he had to like submit because his brother was getting choked out.
That's true.
That sympathy alone would have been a trigger for everybody to be like, okay, I get why you wouldn't fall in line for 6 months, because this dude just choked your brother out and caught. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
And to me, that would have been a catalyst for Jay to change on and get in line, because he sees it like, well, fuck, I had a shot. My brother costed me. So now I need to get in line to get to that level.
That's true. Okay.
Let me ask this question.
But that's just me. Does
this Elimination Chamber...
Hire me, WWE. Hire me.
Hey, you need to put in your application to Peacock.
I told you I'm going to show him my proposal video, and that's it. Let's hope that works out.
No, you're going to use what Drew Gulak uses. And what's that, Kaliko?
My PowerPoint presentation?
Yes.
But I gotta have the video in the PowerPoint. That's what I'm saying, man.
There you go.
That might be all 10 PowerPoints.
Okay, so my question is to all you guys: does this Elimination Chamber pay preview have any effect on what happens at WrestleMania, or are we looking at just Fastlane to have that portrait be completely clear? Scooter?
I think it's really wait and see at this point.
Drew?
I think you'll get the picture on the SmackDown side coming out of Elimination Chamber. I think you're heading towards that Roman and Edge at Mania. That's going to be the main event. And I think Sunday night wraps it up and tells you that's where we're headed on that side. But I think we'll wait till Fastlane to see what happens on the Raw side and the rest of how the rest of the card, because it's 2 days, right? WrestleMania is
Yeah.
2 days. So the rest of the cards, how are they going to be played out over the next few weeks going into Fastlane? So
Kalika?
I wouldn't say like a seismic shift, but the picture for overall will be clear. Because to me, the Edge Championship Index is Raw 1%, NXT 1%, SmackDown 98%, because that's where it everything is just arrowing that way. Even with, because the whole Kyle O'Reilly Adam Cole thing kind of throws it to where there could be a triple threat match at Mania,
yeah,
and and that Edge Roman thing has yet to be settled. So as far as like acknowledging him,
yeah,
the Raw side, it's gonna be dependent on how this briefcase is gonna get used, because everyone for the most part was thinking Sheamus Drew, without a shadow of a doubt.
mm-hmm.
But with and it still could do that in Miz cash in. I mean, but we just don't know how that championship picture looks. Everything else we kind of could get a clue on, but just the top part, it's need to bake a little bit longer.
All right. And that will conclude our coverage of WWE Elimination Chamber. It's tomorrow, and you should listen to it on the remix with Scooter Dust on the UNB network. Until then, a little later today, listen to our Sean Phoenix interview. It's definitely one to listen. And on Wednesday, listen to part 2 of that interview. And we promise that's the last of Sean Phoenix, your hero, for the rest of February.
Probably the realest interview ever.
Oh, without a doubt.
Just great.
Until then, please like, subscribe, comment, both on YouTube and Castbox. And you can always follow Wrestling with Entertainment, everything we have going on, our upcoming interviews, winter viewer interviews, what we have going on, all on our Wrestling with Entertainment Twitter page, which is at Wrestling with E. You can follow us individually. I am at JamesJ993. Where can they find Kaliko?
You can see me possibly not trying to get a DUI off this wine, and I am Kaliko.
He's not on Twitter, but you can find Drew on Instagram.
That is MRSPECYAL, which is Mr._special.
I thought we were going into like Aretha Franklin right there. RESPECT.
Find out what it means to me.
And where can they find Scooter Dust?
You can always find me in the back seat of your car with a shovel. But if you're looking for me on social media, of course, as always, at Scooter Dust, and holding it down for the UNB network at UNBS Wrestling.
For our special guest Drew, Kaliko Yachts, Scooter Dust, I am James J, and this has been Wrestling with Entertainment.
My hole.